Hello and welcome to Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer, the host of the program. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Aurélie Champvert, who is the Executive Director of the Alliance Francaise, will be with us today. Kevin Gardere, who is the Marketing Director for Bridge House, Grace House. Then meet G, the Executive Director of the Ozanam Inn. Kay Wilkins, a good friend of ours and CEO of the American Red Cross, will be joining us. And Weil Coleman, who is with the Destiny Foundation, will wrap up the show. Again, Steve Sawyer, the host of the show, welcome. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. We appreciate you joining us. I'm very happy to have in the studio right now Aurélie Champvert, who is the Executive Director for the Alliance Francaise. Did I get that right?
Yeah, perfect.
You know, my French is not as good as it used to be. Thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. And we were talking before the segment started. You've been in the United States now, how long?
For 8 months,
8 months.
only, yeah, in New Orleans.
And welcome. On behalf of all of us in New Orleans, welcome to America and welcome to New Orleans. How do you like it so far?
I love it. So thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm having a really good time.
Our pleasure. Now you've got a big event coming up we want to share some information on, and I believe it takes place July
13th, so that's Bastille Day Fête.
Okay.
And so it's to celebrate the Bastille Day, the French National Day. It's going to be at the Old US Mint, starting at 3 to 8. It's a free event, and what we wanted to do, it's we've been joining forces with the French-American Chamber of Commerce, the French Consulate, and Alliance Francaise, the three main French organizations.
All in New Orleans?
In New Orleans,
okay.
Yes. And so we wanted to have a big festival for Bastille Day in New Orleans because, well, is there a best place in
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Festival, New Orleans.
Yeah, food. So we're going to have food, we're going to have music, kids' activities, like all sort of entertainment, and a live radio show with Paris. So
really, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that you've done this?
Bastille Day has been done before in New Orleans, but it's the first time the three of us are joining together, and the radio show will be for the first time too. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. So if you come, you can have a chance to speak with French people from Paris and look what they are doing in the firehouse.
I got to tell you, I'm a good old boy from Tennessee. I'd love to get on the radio with somebody.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So it's also about like sharing the culture and showing how we do it in France. So we have firehouse open, and you get to dance and chat with the firemen over there.
That is fantastic. And your website is af-neworleans.org.
Yes, that's correct.
You can go on the website and find out more information about the upcoming event and probably about a lot of the things you guys are involved in just across the board.
Yes, yeah. So you'll have on the website, there will be the full weekend is going to be with events like block party at Café de Gare, some chefs are going dinners, we have a dog contest. So yeah,
wow,
that's New Orleans.
Great. Yeah, it is. Really, it is.
Yeah, a vintage car show too. So you have to look on the website to see all the.
That's incredible. Aurélie, best of luck to the event. Best of luck to you. Welcome again. Welcome to America. Welcome to New Orleans. I hope you like it here.
I will. Yeah.
I mean, again, we were talking before. If you're going to come, if you're from France, where a better place to come than New Orleans?
New Orleans is perfect.
I think you're going to have a great time here, and New Orleans will be a better place for having you here. So,
okay, and if you want to learn French, by the way.
I do, I really do. Just after hearing you talk, I want to learn more French.
Okay, well, that's what we do at Alliance Francaise, so you're welcome to join. We've got summer courses starting anytime.
Please come back on the show, update us on a lot of the other stuff you have taking place. We'd love to have you come back on. So I'd like for you to stay with us. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. We are so happy to have a gentleman who means a lot to us here today, Kevin Gardere, who is the Marketing Director for Bridge House, Grace House. Kevin, thank you so much for taking time. You yourself have an incredible story. We won't get into that today. But Bridge House, Grace House, refresh my memory, I believe pre-Katrina you were two separate organizations?
Yes, we were two separate
organizations. And now you are
combined?
We are one. Okay.
Correct.
And you're marketing director for
both.
Both, okay, all right.
Correct. Bridge House was started in 1957 when a group of alcoholics who were sober for a period of time realized it was next to impossible for those individuals living on the street to maintain and obtain sobriety if they didn't have their basic needs met. So they opened their doors, and has really grown to. It was the largest treatment facility for men in Louisiana pre-Katrina. Well, Grace House was started in 1985 with the same mission, but specifically for women. And at Bridge House, we had always wanted to have a program for women. So after the storm, Grace House was facing, they were in dire straits. They were not going to be able to reopen, so our boards came together and we decided to merge. And it's been great for both of us. We are now one organization. We do keep men and women separate because women have certain issues that men don't have, and vice versa, and plus the comfort level of all males in a group. They're willing to share a little bit more in the group setting than they would if it was co-ed, and the same with the women.
Funding, I mean, I know you guys, we have a non-profit organization.
We're pretty different as far as funding goes. 75% of our funding comes from the private sector, or donations from people, corporations, and private foundations. So we raise about 30% of that money is through our thrift stores, the revenues. People donate their clothing, their washers and dryers, their old furniture. We resell it at 2 locations, one on Airline Drive and one located on Camp in Cali.
So it's an actual store people can go in and buy the products?
The one in Metairie, which is close to the Kenner line on Airline Drive, in the M.A. Green Shopping Center. It's unbelievable. It's like a department store. And they do very well. I mean, we gross about $1.7 million a year with our 2 thrift stores. And then we have a used car lot, which brings in 20% of our revenue. And then, cash donations from individuals, corporations like Cox, and private foundations make up about 25%, and then the rest is from government.
Yeah, before we run out of time, I know you've got the women's medical clinic. It's huge.
It's huge. Right now, the women, we've been having a attending physician at Bridge House seeing the men since 1999, and he started to get the medical students involved, and they have owned it. Well, we're only, due to capacity issues and no pelvic exam tables and things of that nature, we're only able to see the women once a month as opposed to once a week. So what we're doing is, since we renovated the historical Bridge House at Camp Street and moved the women into it, so we now have 70 residential beds for women, we are building a medical clinic within the Camp Street location.
Wow,
it's going to be about a $100,000 project. The need is overwhelming. A lot of the women there, we already live in a high-risk culture as far as STDs, now known as STIs, sexually transmitted infections are concerned. And then they have high-risk behaviors that put them at a greater risk than the general population. Louisiana's top of the charts with most of the STIs now. So we already have an attendant physician who has signed on, Dr. William Robinson, and a couple of medical students, senior medical students, has really taken hold of it. So we already have the people in place. We'll probably start construction at the end of July, and we've already raised about $20,000.
And Kevin, your website is www.bridgehouse.org. People can go to the website to get involved. You take volunteers?
We do have volunteers. With some of the state regulations, it's a little bit more difficult to volunteer, but we do have 3 homeless dinners. And then we have fundraising committees, like for our Mr. Legs event, which is coming up on July 13th. At Generations Hall from 6 to 10.
And that would be on the website, the Mr. Legs event, because I know you probably want to have me enter that.
We're trying to get you there for next year. I mean, if you think you could raise, the winner of Mr. Legs is the individual who raises enough money for us. So So you have a goal to shoot after. But
Kevin, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. I'm going to work on my legs, and we'll be right back. welcome back to Across Louisiana. We have a very special guest today who goes by G, and said if I introduced him any other way, nobody would know who he was. So we're very happy to have G on the show. And G is the Executive Director for the Ozanam Inn.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, and thank you so much for taking time to be here today. And tell us about the Ozanam Inn.
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to come here. Ozanam Inn has been here in the city since 1955. We are a part of the St. Vincent de Paul Society. We run the shelter for the society. We do multiple things. We're both an emergency shelter and transitional housing rehab. We serve both men, women, and children. Mm-hmm. The one thing that is restricted to the male population is sleeping there. If you or I were homeless, no problem, we could sleep there. We're guaranteed a minimum of 10 nights stay per calendar year. Mm-hmm. Come each January 1st, calendar gets cleaned and we get started all over. No maximum number of nights that you and I could stay there. We've had guys that will stay 50, 60, 70 nights during the course of the year. Mm-hmm. Since we cannot sleep females at the shelter, we provide them with vouchers to stay at one of the other agencies in the city. So we feel we want to do something to help the women, especially women with children, to be off the street, to be in a safe environment. So we do that. Now, all the other services that we provide, such as we serve 3 meals a day, 7 days a week to anyone, you and I, even in our position where we are, if we didn't know where else to go eat, we could go to Ozanam Inn, eat breakfast at 6, lunch at 2, supper at 6. Wow. We get clothing. Once every 2 weeks, we get 1 to 2 complete sets of clothes. We're up to where we're distributing somewhere around 1,100, 1,200 pieces of clothes per month.
That is
we
phenomenal.
Allow the homeless to use our address to receive mail. Mm-hmm. We've done a lot of good collaboration the last number of years. For example, we collaborate with LSU Medical School. They have a free clinic on Saturdays. Tulane Medical School, same setup, they have a free clinic on Sundays. We are starting to partner with LSU Dental School to try to open a basic satellite dental clinic at the facility. All of these services, again, are provided to men, women, and children. And the thing that we like, Tom, is that everything we do is free. It doesn't cost a penny. If we feed you, we house you, we clothe you, you see the clinic, it doesn't cost you anything.
That is incredible.
The other side of the house, the rehab transitional housing side, is where primarily, or all men's, not primarily, it's absolutely men, to where the idea of the program is to get the men off the street, give them a good, clean, safe, secure, controlled environment. They can stay there. There's no real time limit. Mm-hmm. We've had guys stay as short as 4 or 5 months. We've had guys stay as long as 18, 20 months. The longest is a guy stayed about 2 months. The idea that we've learned is the longer I can get you out of that environment that is giving you, say, problems, we'll use that term loosely, right, the better it is to get you strong and stable to when you do leave, you'll be able to go back into independent living.
Right.
And that, through it all, is our primary goal, even through the emergency side, which is sort of, I use the term the feeder. You know, you come in, you eat, you get clothes, and little by little you see the guys that are on program. Hopefully that will entice you to say, gee, I kind of like what they do. And a lot of times the guys on the program will talk to the people that are out there. A lot of them know each other, encourage them to come into the program.
Gee, that is absolutely incredible. Your website is www.ozanaminn.org.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure people could go to that website for more information, funding, donations. I'm sure you take donations,
oh, yes,
right,
sir,
for clothing.
Clothing, food items, naturally, money, you know.
Absolutely.
We all need money, but it helps us provide the services we provide.
Absolutely incredible service. Please come back on the show. Let us know anything that you have coming up, ways that we can help you raise money for the organization. Thank you for the job that you're providing the citizens of Metro New Orleans. Pleasure to meet you, G.
Same here.
Thanks for being here. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Kay Wilkins, who is the CEO for the American Red Cross, will be here for some information that you'll want to know about. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. We are honored to have with us Ms. Kay Wilkins, who is the CEO for American Red Cross. And Kay, you're a good friend to Cox. You're a good friend to the Metro New Orleans area, and we appreciate you taking time to be here. I hate to ask you this, but it's that time of year. So
It is.
Hurricane season.
Do you have your disaster supply kit ready?
I do.
You do?
I do.
It's in your closet?
I keep it in my garage.
You keep it in your garage.
Yep.
Very good. Well,
Yep.
that's the question I ask most people I meet these days. Do you have your kit? Do you have a plan? And how are you going to stay informed?
My plan is I call you.
There you go. Well, call me. I'll tell you about it.
No, so let's talk about hurricane preparedness. And I want to talk about the display we have here because we've had a lot of people in the studio ask, how can I get this? And the answer is, yes, you can get this.
You can get that. You just give us a call and we'll, everything's done online these days. We do have some of these in our office on Canal Street, but give us a call and we'll tell you where you can get one, or I can tell you how to make your own.
Okay.
And now's the time to do that. Take a backpack, take a pillowcase, take anything that you can put together. For me, my disaster supply kit is like a Rubbermaid container with wheels because I have to move a lot during a disaster. And go ahead now and put water in there and food supplies and any sort of medications that you may need for you and your family. You know, we used to say, think about a 3-day time frame. You and I know better than that.
Yeah.
Think about a 4 or 5 day time frame
Right.
and go ahead and put that into your kit. Some of the things that I collect during the year, the other day I got a battery operated fan that was a mister, and I think about how hot it is during hurricane evacuation, so I put that into my kit. I also put all of my pictures on a thumb drive, and I put that in a waterproof bag, and I put it into my kit because I want to be sure that that's with me. But it's also important to have other plans. Another plan would be to talk about your with your family what should happen if, for instance, an evacuation order is given and the family doesn't come home as a meeting place. Where will your meeting place be? You need to determine. And go ahead now and let family members know that that's where you're going to meet. For us, we're doing that now. We've had calls even today and this week with our volunteers and staff, talking to them about where we're going to be staging in the event of a hurricane evacuation. Of course, I hope we're just talking about the plans.
Absolutely.
But in the event that we really have to do it, our volunteers and staff and families know where we're going to be. It's also important to have a communications plan. One of the things that, if I were to ask you right now to give me your top 3 people you talk to all the time and then give me their telephone numbers, chances are
Probably couldn't do it.
you're not going to do it because that cell phone is the most wonderful thing and the worst thing in the world for us.
You're right.
Because we no longer have numbers written down. So write down those numbers.
Just punch in a name.
Well, and if that cell phone loses power, punching in a name won't help you.
Won't help you.
We might have to go to the old-fashioned stuff.
Okay, your website is www.redcross.org/New Orleans.
Correct.
Information is on there about hurricane preparedness, how to get the emergency. This is we can't show all of it, but this is an incredible kit right here. What does it sell for?
We have 2-person kits, 4-person kits, and the 2-person kit goes for about $65, $70.
And then all the money is going toward Red Cross.
Well, we do have to buy the kit, but there is a little bit of a markup that then comes back to the Red Cross.
Okay, please, please, please come back on the show. I hope we can have you back on to talk about non-hurricane sort of things. So the American Red Cross is such an incredible organization. I don't know where we would be without you.
I have to say thank you.
I mean that sincerely. So
well, thank you for your support over the years.
Thank you for what you guys do. We couldn't do it without you. Kay Wilkins is the CEO for the American Red Cross, great friend to all of us at Metro New Orleans area. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Across Louisiana. We're very happy to have Mr. Weil Coleman with us right now in the studio, who is with the Destiny Foundation. Will, thank you so much for taking time to come in and talk to us about a serious subject, and I'll let you talk about it. But 40 years ago, something happened in New Orleans that was not so pleasant, and I believe that there was a show on, I think it was right here on Cox 4, a show aired about that. Can you talk about that?
Sure. I guess to begin with, I'll back up just a little bit. We've just concluded some of our week of events known as Pride New Orleans Celebration. Every third week of June, that comes up. And on the screen, they should be seeing our web address, which is neworleanspride.org. So if there's anyone out there that has hopes of volunteering for something of that nature, please contact us there, and our email should be on the screen as well. But primarily this year, our events were focused and dedicated as the official memorial event of the upstairs fire. The upstairs fire happened 40 years ago, June 24th, 1973. It was unfortunately the largest loss of life in New Orleans history. 32 people lost their lives to fire in a bar upstairs on near Charters and Iberville. And at the time, it was something that the powers that be, everything from the police department, the city government, and everyone else sort of tried to sweep under the rug. The chief detective of the police department at the time said that it was a place that was frequented by thieves, vagabonds, and derelicts. And it wasn't spoken of for several days before it was mentioned that it was either a gay business or frequented by people of the gay community. So the...
Is the bar still there today, or did it burn to the ground, or...?
Well, actually, the interior burned and the stairwell, the fire was actually lit basically, I believe, by a Molotov cocktail into the stairs. And then a door to the top of the stairs was open and the fire backdrafted into to the bar. The bartender at the time took about 20 people out of the adjacent back exit that was not marked and got them into safety across to another building and down a fire escape. But this 40th anniversary, there have been a number of different memorials and different events surrounding that. It was part of our Pride celebration. And as well from that, the feedback we got from that and also from our current first responders. It's a different world, thankfully, 40 years later. And
it's a shame, but it is a different world.
Well, we're thankful that some of those things have happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 40 years ago, those people did not have the respect that was definitely due to them.
Right.
Today, we have a different time and place in life. The police commander of the 8th District was with us, as well as the New Orleans Fire Superintendent. And we had a film that was exclusive to us from the Reverend Troy Perry, who was the founder of Metropolitan Community Churches, who had come here 40 years ago to help the community find healing and find transition during that time after the fire. So that was an exclusive video to us. And in response to that, in October, when we have our National Coming Out Day events, we will be hoping to have those surrounding, again, some information about the upstairs lounge and an opportunity to sit with the fire superintendent again, as well as show the film that we had with Troy Perry.
Is there a memorial at the location today?
There is. 10 years ago, there was a group of us that were somehow charged with awesome responsibility of helping that memorial become a reality, and it did happen. And 10 years ago, Troy Perry joined us, as I mentioned before, the founder of Metropolitan Community Churches, came from California, and we dedicated that plaque in the sidewalk there at 604 Iberville, which was the site of the fire. So that plaque is still there to this day.
And so the documentary, is that something, can you go online for people who may want to know more about the documentary? I mean, does your website have information where that would lead you to see the documentary, or?
There's opportunity to see the documentary that we have a connection to again in October.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, take the time to please come back, fill us in on upcoming events. Thank you for your dedication and doing the memorial. I think it's great.
Certainly.
It's a shame that had to happen, but it's great that people like you step forward to do something and speak up about it and put the memorial there. I'm sure families will appreciate that very much. But please come back, share information with us on upcoming events. We'd love to have you back. Will Coleman, who is with the Destiny Foundation, thank you so much for watching Across Louisiana. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.